Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right. Hey, this is sort of a pre-video, if you will. First of all, thank you all for chiming in again. I love you all. I hope that you're having just as fantastic a day as I am every day. That's beautiful. All right, so unfortunately, I had an incident with a bus driver here in Pittsburgh. They call it the Port Authority. And it was a stark reminder, or an unfortunate example of how we see individuals who still suffer from some of the isms like racism, right, and elitism. We see those individuals feel empowered by today's climate, where unfortunately, the eye has been brought on. I won't call that unfortunate. In the communities of color, the black community in particular, police brutality and abuse in some form or another, right, at the hands of quote-unquote authorities, right, very often law enforcement, is nothing new, sadly, right? But there's a new eye that's been turned on it. And fortunately, an intolerance that's growing, right? However, conversely, there are some individuals who are electing to use that fear factor, right? The fear that this will happen to you, right? To make them feel empowered in a negative way, right? A way that makes them feel more enabled to oppress, to subjugate, to use disparagement and social privilege as tools, right, to really oppress other people, right? And unfortunately, that's exactly what this incident, this run-in, to me was an example of. This bus driver, pulls up at the stop where I was waiting appropriately. The way he pulled up was essentially tightly parallel to an SUV that had been parked right at the bus stop. A woman who was the owner of the vehicle was attempting to get into her vehicle when the bus driver pulled up. I simply was a gentleman and let her pass by me, and no further than the second step onto the bus, this guy explodes, berating me. What are you doing taking all day getting on the bus? First of all, he's wrong right there, right? Literally yelling at the top of his voice at me as though I were a child he was scolding, right? And then the tone and the language really took an even worse turn, where the tone changed from one of an inappropriate scolding tone, right, to one that made me feel or be remindful of, like a slave master, reprimanding a slave in the field who he felt wasn't working hard enough or something like that, right? He told me that I should have pushed it. I told him I couldn't have gotten on the bus any quicker without literally pushing the woman out of the way. He told me I should have, right? That's the next thing he said that was outrageous. Told me I should have, and that now I need to get on the bus, pay my fare, and shut up and sit down. I said, what? He said, that's right, you're going to get on and shut up and sit down because I told you to. That's what I told you to do. That's what you're going to do. It's the way this man was talking to me, right? Yelling at me. And he starts on this tirade, trying to, I guess, be as disparaging and disrespectful as possible. You know, trying to make references to me, you know, like I was, in his eyes, a quote-unquote bum, or go out and smoke some weed. He might have made a reference to smoking crack. I don't know. This guy was really off the hinges and extremely disrespectful. Quite honestly, years past, I would have likely lost composure and either got into the same level of shouting match and arguing back and forth with this guy, or maybe even gotten physical. I won't lie to you, right? I probably would have. I probably would have put my hands on the guy. Years and years ago, when I didn't have nearly the level of maturity that I've attained now, right? But I kept my composure, though he kept cursing at me, you know, calling me assholes and a few other different names, you know, all unprovoked, you know, just merely because I didn't enter the bus. First of all, there's no justification, but there wasn't even any provocation, you know, just because I didn't do what he stated I should have done in the fashion he thought I should have done it, which is absolutely insane that this individual would feel he would have the right, the justification, the any sort of means of being in the right. He certainly was in the wrong, right? And he constantly kept reaching for the phone and making references to the Port Authority police, right? And essentially using them as a tool, that threat. And this is the part of it that I found most disturbing, and that I thought was most warranting of me making this video, right? Was that he continued to do so, using the threat of the Port Authority police as his armament, right? That clearly made him feel very empowered. And he was reminding me essentially, you know, of all of the violence and the killing that law enforcement, you know, again, have gotten away with, perpetrated against people of color. And he was using that threat to keep me at bay. He kept saying, you know, he'll have them come and drag me off the bus and do this and that, and, you know, I better shut up and I better do what he says. And then he put me off of the bus, like 3 stops past me paying. So I pay, I get on the bus, I pay while I'm being berated, right? And then while he continues to berate and disrespect me, about 3 stops later, I'm put off of the bus. Right? So I got robbed there. You know, I'm smiling because I'm not going to let anything put me in a bad mood or draw down my vibrational frequency, as clearly this very negative individual would have liked to do. But this isn't something that we can allow to go unchecked. Not just necessarily this particular incident. Moreover, the using of that threat as a psychological weapon, right? Using the threat of police brutality, murder, right? As a socio threat to be able to maintain what he felt was his social position over me, or to do that over anyone is completely unacceptable, and we've got to stop that. I acknowledge, you know, always forgiveness for everyone, right? And then unfortunately, I'm trying to stay away from that word, because folks just are where they are at that point of their maturation. So don't ever hate people is sort of my theme, but it doesn't mean we have to accept actions, right? So you can separate a person from their actions. The actions may be inappropriate, improper, downright heinous, right? You can protest, you can stop, you can take action against, you can fight those actions without feeling like you have to hate the person who may be too immature to understand the depravity of their actions, right? So I don't hate this guy, but these actions we have to call out. We have a responsibility, right? A huge responsibility right now where we're going to see more and more of this negativity pouring out in far more heinous ways, right? As the folks who are stuck in low vibrational frequencies will find the conditions on this planet more and more unbearable as the frequency continues to rise, and as we see a reflective change in the behavior of people on the planet, right? As everyone else begins to respond to these high vibrational frequencies that the planet is continuously escalating in, right? Just check the Schumann resonance. We will see that as many people are able to take in and accept these higher frequencies and that be reflective in their behavior, you will see the intolerance for those frequencies increasing in those who are stuck at a point of immaturity that does not allow for them to raise their vibrational frequency any higher than where they're at, right? Those folks, when faced with these bombardments of high vibrational frequencies, will lash out, right? And, perhaps this was just an example. Perhaps me getting on the bus at that point, I was really beaming and at a high vibrational frequency. Maybe the guy just couldn't take it on that level, right? Maybe he was so swirled in and enthralled in negative low vibrational frequencies within his own life that me getting on such a high vibrational frequency and a display of that as I acquiesced for the woman to get into her vehicle, maybe that was just too much and it was enough of a trigger to call for him to lash out. So again, many of them will lash out like that, and it will likely get worse, right? Because the vibrational frequency is continuing to peak, to plateau, and overall raise on this planet, as is evident in the Schumann resonance, right? And in a lot of other different ways for those who are able to perceive them. So basically, this video again is about us recognizing when these lashing outs happen, that it is showing us another area of our society that we have to mature past. And the only way we can mature past it is once it's revealed, we've got to deal with it, right? And the first part of that is calling it out. So that's all this video is about, me calling that out. I'm going to try, I do actually have a clip of that incident. I didn't catch the whole thing on camera, but at a certain point I did up my phone and record some of it. If I can, I'll attach that to this video. If not, either way, still the call to everyone to call these things out, to challenge them so that we can stop these sorts of behavior, so that we can continue to shape our society and our paradigm into a high vibrational frequency paradigm. That's some of the work that we've got to do, right? So regardless of whether I'm able to attach this clip or not, please hear that call to action and do what you can in whatever situation in your life you find yourself, to call out these behaviors, and continue to create an opportunity for all of us to change this, right, collectively. All right? Okay, so either you'll see the end after this, be a clip attached to it. If I'm able, I certainly will do that. But if not, either way, thank you all. I love you. Let's keep moving forward, man. This is a beautiful time we moving into. I'm telling you to keep in mind always when you see these negative individuals, groups, or associations, right, or organizations lashing out and doing very dark and negative things, it's because they're losing, man. The low vibers ain't got too much long on this planet, and certainly that old paradigm that we had lived in with so much misery, pain, and hate is falling by the way like giant shards of broken glass, right? So as that happens, as that old paradigm continues to crumble, you're going to see plenty panicking out of those who want to keep it afloat. But it's simply not going to happen. It's too late. We've already passed the precipice. The possibility of the old paradigm staying the same is not even something that's viable anymore, right? We are now moving in and cementing the new paradigm, the high vibrational frequency paradigm that we've all yearned and worked for, right? Be proud, feel great. We went through a lot to get here, a whole lot. So let's acknowledge that. Let's not let ourselves be misled, confused, or deluded by those who would like us to think that the world is in this negative place and only getting worse. The world is actually in a high vibrational frequency place and getting higher. And it's them who can't take it. And that's why they're making such a fuss. And, the fuss always gets more attention. But there's plenty of beauty going on out here, believe me, at a grassroots level from person to person and all the way up, right? Change is happening now, but we need to continue to work to make that change something that is complete in terms of a paradigm shift, all right? So yeah, stay tuned for the clip if I can, or otherwise, thank you. I love you all. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. I'm out.